Welcome in, everybody, to Locker Room Sports. Thank you for coming by and making me a small part of your day here, bringing you some weekly news here, college football talk, 9-game conference schedule. I've got an idea that we just kind of bring from the streets of how we can settle all this big mess. Hang around.
Welcome to Locker Room Sports Talk.
Welcome back here, Locker Room Sports. I'm your host, Big Matt. You can find me on Twitter at Big Matt 1977. Guys, we've been talking about this for so long. It started a couple of years ago, and the Big Ten has got their whole idea from, we'll play 9 conference games, and, that makes us better than you. Well, the problem with that whole regiment is they don't have any more ranked teams than anybody else does. And then for other guys, like from the ACC, like Lashley, to come out and running off at his mouth to say, that, there's been the same conference champs since 1964. Well, he picked that year conveniently. And obviously, it's good to know that the bell cow for the SEC for the past, probably 100 years, I guess, nearly, that Alabama has carried the conference, seeing that they're 30-time SEC champs, and the only team that's even close is Georgia, and they got 15. He picked 1964 because in 63, Ole Miss had won the conference. And that would totally destroy his whole argument. That would destroy Lashley's whole idea and all of his just running off the mouth and talking about what they could do. SMU is one of the it is literally, to be wrote down factually, the worst program that ever existed in college football. It was so dirty and corrupt there. They closed the program down. What is he talking about? It's just the same teams doing the same thing. And I'm not saying that the conference is not top heavy and that Alabama and Georgia here lately, because before that, guys, it was been for like 48 years since Georgia's won a championship. It's been 40 years. 40 years. I'm 48. I was young when Georgia won it last. The time before these past two. And Florida had their runs, and they made some good runs at it. Urban had some time in there, and Spurrier had some times, in there. But Nebraska was kind of running college football mostly when I was young. Florida State had their time. And then Miami, as I was getting out of school, graduated in 96. So as I was leaving high school and getting into those times, Miami, the Hurricanes were, a big part of college football. So the whole idea that these teams are going to play 9-game conferences. Because, look, if you remember back during COVID that they were talking about that they were going to have to play at least 6 games, and the players made some kind of big movement, and the SEC stuck to their guns, and the SEC said how we'll just play our own conference. So if playing all of your conference games, all your games are just conference games, you play nobody outside of conference. We done it. That's been done. And Alabama won. It was one of their top 5 teams of all time that won it that year. And the conference wasn't terrible. But the whole crap to say, it's just super top heavy. What conference is not? Are you kidding me? What conference is not top heavy? Well, let's just pull up a little idea here. Let's just pull up some pennants and let's put them up here on the screen so everybody can make sure what we're talking about. Are we looking? Are we paying attention? No, it's not Miller Lite. It's Liquid Death. This is the world beaters. This is the conference that's talking. Especially this and right down here on the far end, second up from the bottom above Michigan. Indiana, Cignetti is talking about, you know how, well, they don't play nobody. We're just going to play the SEC schedule. We just take Virginia off our schedule. Look, for the next 10 or 15 years, there's a lot of schedules already made out in advance. A lot of them. And I know for sure that I know Alabama and I'm pretty sure Georgia are both going to be playing Ohio State. Miami's in the mix to start playing some SEC teams. North Carolina State, they're a program. I mean, they're not tater water. It's not like Austin P or Marshall, like who Georgia opens up with. I can see, So this conference here, Nebraska, prominent program, known all through the country. Great. I just mentioned them a while ago. In my younger days as a kid, watching college football, Nebraska was, if you knew who they were. Coach Osborne, they run the table. They beat everybody. And then beside them, you got USC. I mean, USC is a brand like Alabama. People know who they are. Michigan State, they're probably like the Ole Miss maybe of the Big Ten. They're okay. They have some good years sometimes, and sometimes they just don't. Northwestern, the Vanderbilt of the SEC. Oregon, they've played for it. So is Auburn. They beat them. And Auburn they did play Florida State again. They lost, but at least they've been to two. What's Oregon done? I mean, let's just really be honest here about Oregon. I mean, we're going to talk about the Big Ten because they're talking smack about us. Really? Ohio State, they're champs. They're not defending anything. They're the champs. That trophy is going to be in their case from now on till the ends of time. Okay? How long have they been known? How long have they had a reckoning or an idea or, hey, look, watch out, we got to play Ohio State this year? Not just forever. I mean, they've had good years. When Tressel was there, we're talking about the old sweater vest coach, and he had some good times. Maryland, no, I'm not even going to mention it. I mean, come on. Penn State, of course. Penn State is they've been more relevant than USC of the past. So we're talking about why this smack talking of the Big Ten is talking trash about the SEC. They ain't done nothing. What have they done? Washington? The only thing they've done was DeBoer took them to play for it a couple of years ago. UCLA, old school program, nice, great heritage. Minnesota has more championships than all those teams we're looking at combined. If you start counting in the 20s and stop in the 30s, Illinois, no. Rutgers, no. Purdue, no. Indiana, we done said. Iowa does have – they usually have some great ball players. They feed guys into the NFL, linemen usually. Wisconsin, come on, man. Wisconsin and Iowa and Purdue and Illinois are no different than Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Auburn. What's the difference? Michigan, what have they done? They beat Ohio State, and that's what they they go outside and hang their freaking underwear outside, and they're the best thing that's ever happened. So, I mean, we're looking at the Big Ten. It's not that big of a difference. So who really benefits from this? Who benefits from the whole idea to have this, huge say in that? Well, you know what? It's just a terrible and what we do is just way ahead of everyone else. And because we play this game and all the guys that we play in our conference are so much better than what the ACC is. They don't play nobody. They don't, we don't have such a hard schedule. So arguments from the commissions and the coaches. College football is in this midst of a scheduling debate. And that's what we're doing here today, because the future of this 9-game conference schedule, that's what this is really about. So, and it's really about money. So what are the pros and the cons at which teams and conferences stand to gain or lose. So, what's the pros and cons? Pros and cons of, I'm highlighting this here on my notes. What's the pros and cons of playing 9 games for the ACC? Well, since it's such a great pro, then let's just talk about the Big Ten and their pros. But we just looked at Ohio State's schedule. Do we want to bring that back up again? We just had that on the other day here. Surely I didn't delete it. No, there it is right there. Okay. The old stink eyes. Jeff Anderson, wish he's on here. Are you on here, Jeff? We're talking about this smack talk. What's the pros and cons of playing this guy 9 conference game schedules? I'm tired of hearing about it. We've talked about this for 2-3 years now. Lashley's popping off at the mouth at SMU like they're something. Their program was so bad and so corrupt and crooked, they got closed. They shut them down. If you're too young to know that you don't know, go read about it. It's a 30 for 30. I think it was called the Running Horse or something about the Mustang or something like that. And it's Cincinnati at Indiana. What have they ever done? They've took everybody off their schedule. Next 15 years, they play no Power 4 teams. None. 0. None. So, okay, Ohio State's going to play these 9 conference games. So let's just pick one of their conference games here. Michigan, well, that would kind of be like Alabama and Georgia playing. That's usually the ones that are playing for it or has been for the past 2 years. So that's the proof in the pudding right there. So let's go to another team. Let's pick Penn State. Penn State, to me, is kind of like the Ole Miss of the SEC. They're got a good coach. They're usually in there, playing right there close to it, winning 10 games. Penn State was better last year. I think they're going to be good this year too. But then we're going to go down here and we're going to say, okay, since we'll use Florida, for example. We'll use Florida. And we'll look at their schedule and find out who is their other team that they could add to the schedule. Because if we're going to talk about them, then let's bring Florida up too. Florida Gators. Let's see here. 2025. Let's go right here. Click this button and that button. And you're going to add, and then we share the screen, and you click this one right here, and then there you go. And add, of course. So let's take off. Let's do you want to take off Florida State from Florida? No, of course not. But we got to get in that night conference game because we got to be like the Big Ten where the big boys play because, by God, they've been handling college football for years. Shut up. No, you hadn't. Shut up. So we'll take God, I mean, look, we'll take off LIU Sharks. They open the season with LIU. All right, we're going to take them off. And let's say Florida opens the year with, let's just say, we'll just say Ole Miss. Can we do that? So we're looking at the schedule here. And so we're talking about the Big Ten, because they're so great and they're so wonderful. So let's take this down and go back to Ohio State here. So compared to that, so now Florida's going to add Ole Miss to the schedule. That's going to look better than this poo-poo crap they got here because who on here, other than Michigan, who on there is better? Who is better on this list right now than Ole Miss besides Michigan? And that's just because Michigan, they won it the other 2 years ago. Who? Purdue? Shut up. No. Go away. Minnesota, Washington, Illinois, UCLA. No. So if for us to add, and by saying us, I mean the SEC, what is it? How is this going to be the pros from it? We're doing pros and cons. So what's the pros of it right here for them to play an Ole Miss? Well, it would be a great game. And it would definitely be on TV. So we can sell a lot of ads on it, make more money, because that's what this is about. You know what it's about. So you can sell ads. So ESPN can make a lot of money. And SEC can make a lot of money. That's what it's really all about. That's what it's all about. I mean, if you just want to get down to all of it, that would be a great game. But that's not what they're doing over here. That's not what they're doing. Who are they playing right now? We're talking about the Big Ten schedule, and they're squawking about us not playing 9 games. Well, who on here is going to be ranked? Minnesota, UCLA, Rutgers. Please break it down to me. Tell me how Purdue is going to be ranked in the top 15 or 20. They're not. It's not. So if we want to do what the Big Ten's doing, here'd be a great idea. We'll just go back over here to the Florida schedule, and the Gators could add, let's see, who's somebody's probably like one of their Illinois or something, Let's put Auburn on there. Auburn and Florida. The team wins 5, 6, 7 games. That's about their normal speed. They're not ranked. So these are the cons of what we're talking about. The cons of it is it don't do anything for anybody. The pros of it would be, of course, will be ad revenue and be able to share the games and be able to make money. And for, it's good for recruiting too. If Florida and Ole Miss play, and they're going to play a home and away, if the game's at Ole Miss, he can have recruits come in and he can recruit the state of Florida because he can invite kids from down that way from Florida to come up to Ole Miss and be at the game and say, hey, what's this? We're going to go in here and wax Florida. Or vice versa. Billy the Kid they're playing down there at the Swamp. They invite Kiffin to come down. He can invite recruits from Mississippi to come down and be on his sideline. Those are the pros of it. So the cons of it are you don't have to add a better team and be like the Big Ten does, or Ohio State and Michigan and Indiana, and add nobody. Like Florida just plays Auburn or Mississippi State, teams that win 3, 4, 5 games that ain't won nothing in 5, 6, 7 years. That don't do anything. There's no gain to that. That's missing money. That's the con to it. So if we're going to play these 9 games, then it needs to be worth it to go the whole way to go about it. So who's going to benefit from this? Well, we'd like for the fans to be able to benefit from it because we do like good games. We would like to sit down when we spend our time, some people away from their family, some people watch it with their family. I watch most of the time with my family. Those would be pros for it. But if we're not going to make it worthwhile, then why even play a 9? Why even play the 9? Why play them at all? Just stay to 8 because from what I gathered, from what we heard at SEC Media Days, that Sankey said, because he was asked about it, and he didn't answer it fully. And when he just spoke a few words, and he got kind of quiet towards the end of the saying something. He didn't just say it right out loud. He's like, well, 9-game conference. Well, we're going to hang tight what we're doing right now until we kind of get the playoffs figured out. They're not going to fool with it because it's not going to make any difference because obviously you can just play. I'm going to pick on Georgia. Dude, they start with Marshall and then they play Austin Peay. That's not helping the case. That's helping these ass clowns like Cignetti and Lashley. Everything they're saying is making them even look more right. Marshall, Austin Peay. Why is Georgia opening with Sunbelt teams? I went to JSU. We played Austin Peay for homecoming. My last year there was the year we played for the national championship at Jacksonville State when we went out west and played North Dakota State. And got trashed. But they were great. I mean, you know what I'm saying. Why is Georgia playing Austin Peay to open the season? Well, I tell you what, Bama's the ones dragging their butt around and playing shitty teams in November. They're playing bad teams. They're playing crap. So what if they play Mercer in November? Georgia plays Charlotte. At least somebody in the conference has got a pair to play. I mean, Florida State's not world beaters. God, they're terrible. They've been terrible for a couple of years. But because all their guys left. They had a chance to really get in it and make some damage. But things didn't go their way, and all the kids pouted and showed their butt and stomped the floor and laid on the floor and held their breath and slapped their hands on the floor wanting candy like a little kid. And the coach didn't handle it at all. So at least they're playing. But you can't open the season. And so Georgia fans, I'm sorry, this conversation is just, it's not for you. I'm not talking this as a fan. I'm talking this as a person that covers the conference. I'm talking about all the teams, Auburn, Georgia, everybody. LSU's going to play Clemson. Georgia could have stepped out of their comfort range and, you know what? Play Miami or something. No, we do not, and I do understand that these games are scheduled years in advance. I know that. But something's got to be done. So those are pros and cons of it, and we're not going to be in here just a few more minutes. Just want to share this. Just kind of ticks me off. I'm tired of hearing these blabbermouth Yankees talk about it. Cignetti, and the dude coached at Bama. He knows what it's like to play down here. And I think that if you take the mid-tier programs like the let's what takes South Carolina and Ole Miss, put them in somewhere and plug them in, see how they work. So which teams and conferences, what do they stand to lose from this? The teams stand to lose a shot in the playoffs. Matt, what are you talking about? Well, your strength of schedule is not real good, and that has to weigh on you somewhere. Somewhere that's got to start mattering. We cannot have a team like Clemson last year that won their conference, and just because they won their conference, they got in. We really need to make sure that we're getting teams that have a better chance of probably winning the games. And some of these teams, no matter what you say, I don't care what you say, some of these teams are just not going to get up to play this crappy bowl game that they get stuck into. They just won't, man. They're young men. They're between the ages of 19 and 23 or 4. Some of them 17 or 18. They're just not going to get up to play these lesser than teams. And I know, like Alabama, Michigan, they should have been up to play. It's Michigan, and they should have won the game. But it should be important because it's the next game. It don't matter who you play. But that's just not reality. That's just not how it is. You can cut it up however you want to and say, well, Bama shouldn't have been in it neither. That's fine. They shouldn't have lost to Vanderbilt. That was stupid. That's on them. That's on the coach. That's on the staff for letting that happen. They were not ready to play the game. They were not mentally prepared to play it. And they shouldn't have gotten the playoffs. I would never have won barking about Bama being in the playoffs. Never did. But I sure would like to see them in it over SMU or Indiana. They suck. These guys have no depth. They cannot run and play with these football teams, man. Look what TCU, did we see what happened? And I don't want to use Florida State. Some other media people, shows on YouTube do. They had everybody quit the team, man. That was not a real game. If they'd have showed up full strength and everybody ready, they'd have played a lot better game, and the score would not have been gotten their butts waxed by 60. So I don't want to use that. But for us to be able to just say that, the SEC needs to play another conference game. If they're not ranked, what does it matter? Because we just pulled up here and looked at Ohio State and who they got. Just because they play freaking Rutgers, well, we played 9. How come we played 9? We played 9. We played 9 conference games. They're terrible. So what if Alabama, or so what if Georgia adds freaking Vanderbilt, or so what if LSU adds somebody they ain't played in a while? Well, if they play Mississippi State, those games, they're not good, man. It don't help. Now, we're not talking about could last year's the topper part of the middle. Georgia and Texas were the top two. And right under them, you had Ole Miss, Bama, South Carolina. Though any of those three teams, however, if Ohio State unplugged Rutgers and plugged in South Carolina, how do y'all really think it would go? Now, this is what we really need to talk about. Because as I started the show, I said, I have two words for you to figure out all this problem. And this is how we handled it on the streets back in the day. Bring it. Just play us. If you got all that talking, all that rattle, and all that hype going on in your head and your teeth clapping together and making words that your butt's talking that you freaking AWS can't cash, Signati, then schedule Georgia. Schedule Ole Miss. Play South Carolina. Play Alabama. Play Tennessee. Dude looks like some kind of weirdo that freaking stuffs people on his freaking floor or something. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? What is he talking about? We're just gonna do like the ACC and just play their schedule up here. Shut up, dude. If it's so easy and you're gonna mimic it, then see what it's about, because your unranked teams, I don't think, is the same as an unranked team in the SEC. And I'll stand on business right now with all my toes and my hands. You're crazy. You're insane if you think that. You're crazy if you think Illinois matches Ole Miss. You're crazy if you think UCLA matches Alabama. We've seen Alabama and USC play a couple of years ago. It was terrible. In the first quarter, it was bad. It was 20-0, like just in no time. Go back and watch it. USC was so hyped, he had to hold them back. You know, they're standing out there at the gate holding each other back, looking, well, we're ready to get out there and get – you was ready to do nothing but get your freaking face mask ripped off. So if you want to do something about it, instead of sitting up there on the desk – and being a big mouth, I like to just do stuff instead of saying I want to get something done. Hey, look, man, that place across the road, around their grass is high. Well, just freaking go mow it. Just go fix it. Go do something about it instead of talking about it. So Signati or Lashley, SMU, if you wanted some, a way to figure out who's what and when and where, well, they've had the same conference winners, since 1964, since 63 if you go back a year, but he picked that on purpose. Because there's a bunch of smooth brain people walking around that don't know, because that year before Ole Miss won it. And if he would have said that, if he just would have said the fact the conference has the same winner all the time. Well, if he would have said mostly Alabama's, they have won it 30 times. I just shared it on the page. You go over on Facebook page, type in Locker Room Sports, and I put the whole list right up there on the Facebook page. Bama's 130. Georgia's right behind with 15. And some other teams have 8 or 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, between them. I think they've got 8 conference SEC titles. So if it's so easy in playing these unranked teams, the Indiana, their schedule to beat no ranked teams, then schedule Alabama, SMU, holler at Lane Kiffin. I guarantee the boy's got his britches pulled up high with a belt on. He ain't scared. That's how we settle things. You just call it out. Hey, look, if you him, then if you're the one, that's just how we did things. When we played basketball around here in the area, and somebody was better than somebody, there were some times when the gym would be open over here at a school in the summer, and we just show up. And who won is who won, and that was the end of it. Was they fights during the game? Yeah, sometimes a little bit. Nothing bad. But that's how you figure it out. So I ain't got much more to add to it. That's all I can say. Pros and cons for a 9-game conference schedule. There are pros and cons. The pros that we can make money, and it would be good. It's going to be good games. We could see some more games, but the con side is, what does it really add to a strength of schedule? Why don't we really even need to change it? Because obviously showing by Indiana and SMU, it don't really matter because they're going to put them in anyway. Just play Austin P, Charlotte, Marshall, Mercer. Just play about 6 games and then play a couple of conference games and, play the lower conference teams, play the bottom 3s, play the Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Auburn. Just play those 3. Don't play Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss. Dude, I mean, go back and look at Texas last year. Go back and look at their schedule. They ain't got a lot of room to talk neither. Go back and look how many ranked teams they played. At the week they were going to play these teams, was these teams ranked? I'm just saying. So I'm saying this, to end on this. We got to come together as a conference and do better. These bottom teams, I done talked about this before, y'all have got to do better. All this recruiting stuff and dragging butt around way back at 60. Come on, Auburn. You need to win. We need to go up to battle. Y'all need to beat them 40-0 and just put some shut-up juice on them. Really? Big 12? That shouldn't even be a game. Auburn should be able to way out athlete them. Better quarterback play, better receivers, better guys, some better guys on defense. This is going to be coaches, some positions pretty close. Similar, I think defensive coaches are pretty close. Well, Batter's got some good coaches. But Auburn should beat them by 2 touchdowns. So we got to do better. Arkansas, we got to step it up. Coach Pittman, Coach Levy, Mississippi State. Dude, you cannot go out here and just win one freaking game. Well, we play, there's 8 games, and surely you can win one of them. So there's 8. That leaves 4 other weeks. You're going to have an off week, so that leaves you 3 weeks to schedule some poo-poo teams. Can you beat one conference game and beat 3 of the smaller teams, like the Austin Peay, Charlottes, and Marshalls? You should be able to win. If you got any kind of football something, you got to be able to win 4 games or 5. Come on, man. We need these guys to be ranked. So when we're playing each other, because we're going to have to go to 9, but, Sankey said there ain't no need to. Why? What's it matter? Right now, we need to get this playoff fixed because they're fixing to go to 16. It's going to happen. I don't like it. Just take the conference champ, just pay a pool play or something. I don't know. And if you want to make some of this different, I'll steal one from Jake Crane. J-Boy, shout out Crane Company. He said today that how basketball has conferences play each other. Have the SEC and the Big 12 play this conference matchup week. And then the next week have ACC and Big 10 do it. That way some of these teams are getting to play each other. And then when Indiana comes down here and plays Mississippi State and gets beat 36-6, then that's the shut-up juice. And that's the solution to it. Hey, look, if you think you got it, Signetti, Lashley out here at SMU, schedule somebody in SEC or shut up. Schedule somebody. You don't even have to schedule the better teams. Do it. Then do it then. Play us. That's the 2-word solution. All right? Y'all have a great day, and we will catch you. I may be back on tomorrow. Depends on what news and stuff we got going. Y'all be blessed and have a great day, and go.
Welcome to Locker Room Sports Talk.